Hi, Josh.
How's it going, Vic?
Great. Josh, what were for you the main lessons from last year's wild card game in Houston?
I think the main lesson was not to press, understand the situation that we were in. Obviously, if I can go back and change things, I would. But I'm glad that they went down the way that they went down. I was able to learn a lot from it and hopefully carry that, playoff experience into Saturday's game. And Indianapolis is a very well coached team. They've got a Hall of Fame quarterback on their side, so we got to do everything in our power to hold on to the ball, score when we can score, and try to execute the game plan to the best of our ability.
And one follow-up, Josh, when you expand it, I mean, everybody's involved in this, of course, not just you based on how the outcome worked a year ago, but teams different in significant ways. But as you look at this team, based on what you just said about what you learned, and I'm sure what you've shared with your teammates, can you give me a sense of what that experience for this group from what happened in Houston to what you're hoping will be different Saturday, how that can be applied to the whole team?
Yeah, I think the main thing is taking it one play at a time, not getting too high, not getting too low. Whatever happens in the flow of the game, that next play, you got to let it go. You got to focus at the task at hand, and it's always the next play. Because there's some crazy things that happened in that game last year. Obviously, some things that we can't control, but ultimately, our mindset, our attitude, and our effort are the things that we can control throughout the game. And like I said, just trying to stay within the flow of the game.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Josh, John Worrell.
Yes, you want.
Kind of to piggyback off that, just you've been able to respond and learn from each of the mistakes that you've made from the beginning, whether it's throwing across your body or not sliding or whatever. And is now proving yourself in a playoff situation after all you've done, is proving yourself in a playoff game now the next step in this team's development?
Naturally, yeah. We're trying to go win out, obviously win the next game. Nothing matters unless we win this one. And that's our mindset, going from playoff caliber to championship caliber, something that Coach McDermott always preaches to us. But again, this is a team. They got some studs on defense. Darius Leonard flies around. They got DeForest Buckner, who's a huge body on the inside. He's a problem. On the outside, obviously, they got a guy in Rhodes that's, played at the top of his game for a few years now, but is probably playing his best ball in his career. So, we got to be ready for whatever they can throw at us. And they still have a few other guys that can get after the ball. They force a lot of turnovers. And again, like I said, the guys that they got on offense, especially at quarterback, we got to do everything in our job to limit giving them the ball, and putting our defense in good situations.
And finally, for me, you said, and I think it might be a year ago today that loss was going to linger until you put the pads on once again. How for the next time? How long did it linger, and does it still linger?
It still lingers a little bit, just knowing the situation of the game and things I could have done differently and reads I could have changed. But again, like I said, I wouldn't. Like I said, if I could change it, I obviously would. But I'm glad I can't. I'm glad the lessons that I've learned throughout that game and, really throughout the 3 years that I've been playing so far. And, without failure, people don't know success. So, again, we gotta find ways to put our best foot forward on Saturday and try to go get a victory.
Good. All the best to you on Saturday.
Hey, John.
Hey, Josh, Adam Benini. I asked you about that after the game, so I don't want to belabor the point. So just beyond that Houston game itself, I found it interesting when you responded to Vic when you talked about how you learn not to press. All the production we've seen from you this year, and obviously the offense is more dynamic in some of the pieces you have around you, but how much is that mentality of maybe not trying to do too much and executing the offense perhaps more effectively in that way? How much is that mentality or that maturity led to the success we've seen from you?
I think if you look at the numbers, especially first down efficiency and third down efficiency, I think we're one of the tops in the leagues for our offense. And those are the key downs that matter. And again, I think obviously being better with the ball, try not to turn it over. Obviously, nobody wants to turn the ball over, but being smart, especially as we go into the playoffs and every drive matters, every yard matters. Again, that's something I learned last year and even throughout the year this year, just trying not to put our defense in bad situations. We got the skill guys that can go out there and can explode at any time. But, this is a very well-coached defense, like I said earlier on. Guys that don't really give up big plays too often. And, we'll throw a lot of zone at you, and then all of a sudden they'll switch it up and try to get you with the pressure. And, it's my job to try to decipher that and get it to the open guys. And, but again, they do a great job, especially their linebackers. They're extremely quick, and they're able to run side to side and kind of get in some of these passing lanes. Their D-line is able to tip the ball and get after the quarterback. So, again, it's playoff football. This is what we asked for. We're in Buffalo, having a home game, and a chance to do whatever we set out to do. But it starts with Saturday, 1:05 p.m. Against a really good Colts team.
And my last question, Josh, how much more? I don't want to put words in your mouth here, so correct me if I'm wrong. How much more even-keeled are you approaching this game now? I mean, I remember last year, I think it was in Foxborough when we talked to you in the post game. You had talked about, I don't know, I think it was the word jitters or whatever, however you described it before that game, and you thought maybe it affected you a little bit in the first half. I guess my question is, with the experience you've had and the growth that you've referenced, I guess going into this game, do you feel more kind of level and prepared than perhaps you have in other big stage games in the past?
Yeah, I mean, prepared for sure. Just understanding our offense better than anybody, having the relationship that I do with Dable and Dorsey, and trusting our guys up front and our guys outside to do their jobs consistently. And they rely on me to do my job consistently. So it's just a lot of faith, a lot of trust in this team. And we got to go out there, like I said, on Saturday, and we got to go out there and play like we know how we can play. Even again, it's playoff football, and weird things happen. But we got to go out there, put our best foot forward, and give our team an opportunity to try to win a football game.
Appreciate it, Josh. Thank you as always.
Hey, Josh, Matt Bove here. I know the stage is obviously bigger, and you've said multiple times it's playoff football, but what changes within like a playoff game compared to a regular season game? Obviously, it turns over just like that.
I mean, it's either win or go home, and you don't have the luxury of waiting and seeing, and you don't have help from anybody else. You got to go out there, and it's head-to-head matchup. Two really good football teams going at it. It's a cool moment, with Coach Wright and what he meant here to Buffalo. And I know I saw his press conference of him coming back, and he's excited that we won on Sunday or Saturday whenever we played. But he's not going to be a fan of the Bills when he comes into town this time. But the fans obviously love him and what he's been able to do here. So that's a cool story in itself. But again, it's win or go home.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hey, Josh, Sal Majorano over in Rochester. It's funny you just talked about Frank Reich, because I wanted to ask you a question about back in the day. In 1988 was the year the Bills made their big jump, and it happened to be Jim Kelly's third season. You're in your third season with this team. That started a big run for the Bills. Can you just tell me, in your third season, and Jim spoke to this years and years ago, what has changed so much for you, from the start to where you are right now, that the Bills were able to make this leap this year?
I mean, I think it's just the guys we've brought in, how hard everybody's working, how much we care about, our team, our brothers on the team, our families off the field. We're not trying to let anybody down. And when we're here, we have a purpose. And I think Coach McDermott's been doing a good job of preaching that purpose to us when we're on the field. We know how much this means to the city of Buffalo and the fans here, and the alum that have played here. And, it's a special place to play football. But at the end of the day, we're on the field playing for each other. And that's I can't make any comparisons between then and now. And but yes, we just like playing football here.
And if I could ask you, what's going on over in Cleveland with COVID? It's a bad situation at this time of year, obviously. How scary or frightening, worrisome is it for you guys? You've done a great job so far, but this thing can come up at any moment, and to have, you know, a playoff game possibly derailed. How worrisome is that for you guys?
I mean, it's always a risk, always a worry. You know, like you said, we've been doing a good job of keeping it under control here, and we got to continue to keep doing what we're doing and not going out and making sure we're masking up in the building and wearing our tracers and staying 6 feet apart, and you know, trying to limit as much of that possibility as possible. And it's never zero. But again, the better that we can handle ourselves and hold each other accountable for what's going on in this building, you know, the more that we feel like we got a chance. And again, at some point, it's going to strike every team. It's really, I feel like it's struck every team in the league so far this season. But this is when you can't have that, and it's nobody's fault. And some people still don't know how it's getting spread and this and that. But again, limiting your opportunity to get in it is probably the key and the most prioritized thing.
Great, Josh. Thanks.
Hey, Josh. It was the Seattle game where you were sacked 7 times, and in the 7 games since there, it's been 6 sacks in those 7 games. I mean, can you kind of just put into words what this offensive line has done in this kind of second half of the season?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing lights out. And I mean, I don't have much to say other than I think it's been since I gave them the Christmas gifts. They've been playing really well. So if that's all I got to do, I'll keep doing that. But like I said, it's just guys that work hard in practice. They communicate well. When we're in the film room going over protection plans, they're focused, they're detailed, and is the guys that we have up front. They care about our running backs. They care about me and whoever touches the ball. And you know, that's the main fact of the matter, in my opinion.